Hey everybody, and happy new year, and welcome back to another max velocity weather forecast. And in today's forecast, we'll be breaking down multiple storm systems that'll be impacting the United States over the upcoming weeks, and these will bring a lot of snowfall to the United States, including areas like the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, the Northeast, the Northern Plains, and it's overall just going to get very active across the country. We'll also be watching for a threat of severe weather later this week into the weekend, and as well as multiple cooldowns. I'll be giving you the latest breakdown on everything that you need to know in this forecast, but let's first begin with what's happening across the United States today. And honestly, there really isn't much happening across the United States today. It's actually pretty quiet to ring in 2024. The only things I want to point out for today really overall is just a lot of dry air across the central and northern and southern plains. Back down in the southern plains and even the southeast, it's actually quite cold today, and the below average temperature trend is continuing for these areas, including Texas, Oklahoma, back into Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Alabama, all those areas below average on the temperature spectrum for today. Back over on the East Coast, slightly active, but it isn't much. There's some cloud cover, some snow flurries. That's really about it. Again, it's actually really quiet for this time of the year across much of the United States. And then back over on the West Coast, even though it's been very active the last few days, there really isn't much happening there either. Obviously, all of this is going to be changing over the next several days, though, because we have a big pattern change that's going to be coming to the United States, and this is going to really change everything across the country. We're going to be watching for a much stronger El Nino weather pattern to really take place here across the United States. So to look at that, we're going to look at the jet stream, and the jet stream gives us an idea of the weather patterns that are happening across the United States. And as of right now, we do have a ridge that's dominating much of the Great Plains. You'll notice that here in the central and northern plains, where we do have a ridge here, and then our ridge axis going up to the north and northeast. And also notice we have a low pressure system that's back over in the northeast United States. This isn't really, again, doing much. Upper level disturbance bringing a few snow flurries for today. Now, things change a lot, though, as we go over the next few days, because watch this closely. So in the southwest United States, this is basically the entrance region of multiple troughs over the next 7 to 10 days, which I mean basically storm systems that'll be entering the United States. And this is going to be our first one going into Tuesday. This is going to impact the southern plains and the southeast. And we're going to talk about more details on this here in just about a few minutes, but this is going to basically be moving across the east, bringing lots of heavy rainfall, maybe a little bit of isolated snowfall, probably not much. But the other thing to watch with this as it moves to the east will be the threat of isolated severe weather. It's not out of the question. It's a very low chance, but it would be right along the Gulf Coast. So we'll be watching that very closely. And then once we go further into the week, another storm system by Thursday will be entering into the southwest United States and eventually going across the southern and central plains. This one will be stronger than the one that we're going to be seeing on Tuesday, and also larger in size. And this one might bring a bit more of a winter storm aspect to it. In addition to that, we'll be watching for a slightly higher severe weather threat out of the system. This one could bring some damaging winds and maybe a few tornadoes to the southeast United States, as long as everything stays on track with what's forecasted right now. And then once we go throughout Friday into Saturday, that low pressure system moves off to the north and east, and then going into next week. So by Monday, we have an even larger storm that right now the European model is depicting on the future radar. And notice this by Monday into Tuesday. This is around January 8th and 9th, so about a week out. And keep in mind, things do change quite often, 7 to 10 days out. This could change, but for now, it's indicating a pretty strong and large storm. Obviously, the jet stream really strong here, stretching from the Pacific Northwest back into the Northeast, and also a pretty strong jet stream southwesterly flow. Just a primed system to bring us both a winter storm and severe weather. So this is going to be a really interesting trend to watch for over the next 7 to 10 days, and this one could easily also bring, again, a winter storm threat to parts of the United States. Let's talk a bit more about the future radar, give you an idea of what precipitation you might be seeing in your region, and if there's any severe weather or winter storms upcoming here across the United States. So beginning with the next couple of days, again, it's going to stay pretty quiet. I think tomorrow the main concern would be showers and maybe a few storms across parts of Texas and Louisiana. This will shift off to the east as we go into Wednesday and Thursday. That'll move toward Florida and the southeast with maybe some showers and storms, but most of this rain will be staying off coast. One thing that I'd be keeping in mind, though, it might get cold enough for a brief rain and snow mix in parts of northern Georgia or Alabama. It's a relatively low chance for now. It does exist, but it will not accumulate to anything. It's not going to be cold enough there for that. Back over into the northeast and as well as the Great Lakes region, those areas in particular, watch out for some snow flurries going into Wednesday and Thursday. Again, it's not much, but it's something at least here as we go into January. Once we go into Friday into Saturday, or really more than anything into Friday, that's when our next storm will be entering the United States. And again, as I mentioned, these storms will basically be getting larger over the next several days. And this one in particular will start to grow in size as we go into Friday morning. And you'll notice there's going to be a snow section of this system and also a rain section of this system, which is much more typical for January. The first storm I showed you for Tuesday and Wednesday has really no snow potential with it. This one will definitely have a snow threat since it'll be colder up here to the north. And what we'll have to watch for going throughout Friday is how this storm exactly evolves. The European model yesterday was showing a bit more of a definitive area of snowfall that would ride into the Midwest. Now it's showing that it'll be more of a rain concern down in parts of the southern plains and back into the Mississippi Valley, but then it evolves into more of a winter storm as it moves to the north and east going into Saturday into Sunday, which this is a bit of an uncertainty point since it's a very small area. And again, this is about 5 to 7 days out, but we might see a bit of a winter storm threat going to the northeast. And honestly, you know, areas like New York City have not seen snow in years now. This might be their chance going into this weekend with an El Nino weather pattern. So that'll be interesting to watch for. So again, if you're back over here in the mid-Atlantic and the northeast, be watching this for Saturday into Sunday. Again, by no means is this set in stone, but there is a likelihood, at least medium likelihood, that we'll see some snowfall here in the northeast going into Saturday into Sunday. By the time we go into Monday, our next large storm arrives. And again, this one has a lot of uncertainty as well, but this one, if it does happen, we're going to be talking about a lot of snowfall out of this one in particular, because look at this going to Monday into Tuesday. Very strong low pressure system. We'll have a lot of showers and storms here across the southern plains, the southeast, the Gulf Coast. This will really increase the threat of severe weather, but on the flip side of this, we actually could see some snow behind this, and if we do, it's going to bring a lot of snowfall, because we would be talking about really heavy snowfall overall across like the Midwest and into the northeast United States. And again, a very strong trough, 978 millibars. And again, if this ends up happening, this will bring upwards of, you know, inches, potentially even a foot or two of snow in some areas back into the Midwest and the northeast. Again, a lot of this is uncertain. I've mentioned it multiple times, but we definitely have a good chance here of some heavy snowfall in the Midwest and the northeast as we head into the first and second week of January. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and we'll keep you posted with the latest on both of these storms as they do evolve. One other thing I want to point out, this is from 24 hours ago on the European model, just a little bit of a different story here. Again, model consistency is something that we talk about a lot. The models have actually been quite consistent on this first storm, bringing snowfall up to the northeast. The trend over the last 24 hours is the European model brought this slightly further down to the south for the snowfall potential. And then as we go into Monday into Tuesday, shows almost the exact same thing as what we were just looking at moments ago, with the snowfall still being in the Midwest and the northeast. So big thing that we need to look at is model consistency. That increases the confidence of a snow or rain forecast. In this case, it is increasing our confidence at least in some snow for the Midwest and the northeast out of both of these storms from Saturday to Sunday and as well as into about Tuesday of next week. Also, in case you're wondering about the severe weather threat, we are going to have at least a low-end threat as we go into Wednesday across the southeast. The low-level jet will be cranking around 45 to 55 knots. More concerningly, though, I'd be watching more for the Saturday severe weather threat in the southeast. This could produce a few tornadoes with a low-level jet near 70 knots, which is much more intense. And then as we go into next week, things become a lot more uncertain. But if we have a strong storm like the European model is showing, we could actually have a severe weather outbreak. I'm reluctant to say that, but the ingredients here are obviously indicating that. So this will be something to watch for. But again, we're still 7 to 10 days out. Stay tuned. We'll keep you posted with the latest. Things will definitely change over the next few days, and we'll have more certainty as we get closer to both of these events. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe if you've not already.